Hello and welcome. Today is Thursday, the 24th day of August 2017. Welcome. Today's video is a Litecoin Bitcoin cross video. Anything within this video that you end up doing is within your own risk and your own reward. This is a daily chart for Litecoin. And yesterday's session had a huge break. Now this is the Bittrex exchange, which we can see pierced above the 0.016 handle, thus retesting this high and this support. That's again on the Bittrex exchange, as the other ones were a little bit lower. I've been asked, where is the best place to sell the Litecoin? And I can only state where I'm selling. I end up actually selling everything yesterday between here, but then I bought it all back. I'll explain that when I go to the more shorter term time frame. And I sell little bits in different places. I got some sell orders in here, I think 2 or 3 before the high. I don't sell much breaking resistance, so I won't have any sell orders near the 24 handle, not even maybe. As far as just going through mathematical Fibonacci calculations, I can quickly just eyeballing this. I don't need to look at the exact number because obviously these trade on different numbers. This is around 22. And there's been major support here, 3 times hit here, and basically once here at a hair below the 10 number. But I'm just going to use the number of, say, we'll go 1,022 on the upside Fibonacci, which gives us the quick answer at about 36 or so. And that might be an area to start selling. Oftentimes they pierce those numbers anyway. It's going to be something, if it breaks out, it's going to go well above this. And when these things are ready to go, they just go. And 36 would probably be an area where it would congest at later on, but pierce above. So maybe hit 40, 44, 48, and then come back and then trade around that area for a month or 2 or something in that nature there, or whatever significant period of time to make that level key. But for what it's worth, when you're selling any code, at least for myself, when you're talking about breaking new all-time highs, when it's getting to a level where it's just well above previous key points, I'm just going to sell a bunch of it, if not close to all of them. Realizing that, yeah, I may not pick the top, but I'm getting amazing gains, and there's a decent chance nonetheless, whether it tops soon or even a little bit later, that I'll be able to buy back cheaper. If, say, for example, you sold in here, you were able to buy back cheaper, even though it went up a bit more. And further case in point, if you sold, say, here, you weren't able to buy back cheaper. So it can work both ways. And I always want to make sure with my coins in any code, where do I want to sell it at? Meaning, at what price target point will I be okay selling everything? I want to make sure I always have some tokens or coins at what particular price target, and just make sure I have them there and don't sell them towards those significant points. Let's shorten out this time frame. Then we're going to look at this more longer term after we're done that. And this all happened yesterday. This is a 15-minute time frame. And we can see that on the breaking, well, the low end was at like single 0111, breaking resistance at around 116, making it up to, on the Bittrex exchange, we'll move to the Poloniex after this is done, up to about 160 change. And as I was stating, I sold everything. Where did I sell? I sold between the range of 140. Yeah, I got the low on this, up to about 160, with majority, well, a good amount at 140, a bit more at about 156, and a small amount at about 160. And I bought it all back, like instantly. And where did I buy it at? How much did I buy it for? About 126, 127, up to right in here. So it was a situation where, because the market goes up so fast, the smaller exchanges aren't able to catch up. And not only that, but when you get the market, you're able to sell at the highest price. At least from, there might have been other exchanges a bit higher. I'll throw those ones away. But to be able to sell at a much higher price. Now let's show you what the Poloniex 15-minute time frame looked like. And remember, the high on this one broke 160. And within this, it got to 144. So a difference of 16 basis points on 144, 10%, a little more. And with rake, we'll say 10%. There's a pretty big difference. Those are Bittrex is a pretty decent sized exchange. Thus, it makes it easier to actually buy and sell with a good bid-ask ratio usually. Of course, easy to get it in and out at those prices. That's what Poloniex and Bittrex offers compared to the other smaller ones. So I find that to be a very interesting thing. So overall, you have your move, and it's consolidated at sideways since. So the story is either that of, oh my goodness, failed move, attempt breakout that failed immediately, or it's a start of something interesting. Let's go back now to the daily chart. In any situation in which you are in a downtrend, which of course this obviously is, and you had a nice leg lower, you tested a previous level, now you're coming up and stating, okay, not only do I want to do a correctionary phase in here, but I want to make a statement that I'm ready to break out. Even on the Poloniex 144, it's making that same statement. Okay, that's fine. But I also realize when I look at this that it's at this key little level of resistance here. It could very easily bottom within this correctionary phase. A resistance has been established in this area. And it could very easily go from here. But if it doesn't, and you see this 18 average holding poorly, maybe starting to break below it, any of those types of patterns in there, that's a very scary situation, because then it is basically stating that this was a failed breakout rally attempt. After, of course, you had the situation of this declining period in here where it resisted the declining average, a small leg lower, declined it a bit more, decent leg lower, and you not only would be thinking of a fast move to the previous low, but much lower. And that's on the if case scenario. As I don't think that's going to happen, because if I did, I would get out of some coins. I'm not doing such. I have my buy orders to go in lower. I'm not buying any more. I will be, like I stated, selling a little bit here, not selling a little north of this level. And then when the prices get well into the 30s and 40s, I'll be looking to get some tokens out and analyze the situation more in the message of the market as time moves on. Now let's finish this off within the weekly chart and take a look at this for the last 3 years or so. And I've talked about these numbers. You don't want to sell a little north of these areas, yada, 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 no brainer. Okay, previous high is in at about 33. That's one key number to know. Sometimes in technical analysis, you would think if this is going to break through, break past this level, you're probably going to have a sharp, fast move up to the previous high. And then maybe even some sort of sharp correction back down to key resistance. And then maybe break it, do a pattern like that. But this has been such a wild, wild chart. I really don't know what to make too much of it, except I would expect it to continue to do so. It could almost call the bear market from July of 2015 to the spring of this year horrific. It was a really, really large bear market. It got to a Pierce high above this 30 number and then congesting and settling back in at around 15. So from the 15 handle, it goes down about 150 to 32. So it basically loses about 80% of its value, resisting in here, resisting again. A little bit of a failed attempt, but as I was saying with the daily time frame, when you're making a statement like, yeah, I want to change this, which is what happened here on the weekly term time frame, stating, yeah, I want to go higher. Okay, let's see how you do. And in here, there's this spot where it goes to the 18 average of lows. There's your warning sign in here, and notice, boom, down she goes. So these are the kinds of failed move, fast moves things to look for. They work, of course, both bullishly and bearishly. But since this point, as I state, when these things are ready to go, they're ready to go. You go from 0032, and you have a decent up period, another okay up period, an extreme one. Even though it had a good move higher, you can see it closed where it was, so it corrected within that week, regained some of those losses back, extended it again, pause week, and then the huge up week, which soon followed to 22. So there's a spot where it went up like 7x in a little over 2 months. And from the bottom, from where we stand right now, 7x on the 10 would be 0.07. But that's just one, those are ways I can look to calculate it for what it could be doing. Now, as far as this bull run that has occurred, I mean, I don't know, this isn't by the book. Reverting the trend, step 1, band flattening out. Step 2, establish resistance. Okay, I guess we'll establish it up here. That's not by the book, by the way, to go that high. But then come back to the band. Okay, there's the coming back. And then break it. It didn't have that break. And move back down, which didn't make a higher low. And the situation in here where it should have made a low in here. So the daily time frame said it was ready to break through. So if that daily time frame fails, then we can probably see, I would guess, just eyeballing it for 2 reasons. One, what's a noticeable leg lower? Where did it come from? Because this is key support. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do realize that that's what the pattern is stating. As this move lower is quite a little scary, but again, 144 is the normal move still. 140 back to 120. It's a short-term move from yesterday. So short-term, if it holds this, and let's just assume maybe it ends with a green candle up to here. If you follow through with any kind of sideways or green candle the next week, everything is going to look fine. This thing is trading wildly, to say the least. So going by any kind of old school or traditional school, even my base that I use, I think a lot of other technical analysis strategies as well, will have difficult times trading these kinds of markets. But I think the big thing of noting is because they have these moves when they're ready to go, they just go straight up, boom. And then, of course, again in here, that when this thing is ready to do such, you can basically watch out. You can say this was an attempt to go big, and the attempt might be failing. Of course, it hasn't broke this support, so that's really where the key fail point comes in. And when it's ready to go, that's all that matters for me, because I'm just going to hold. And then when the sell signals come in for me, which is higher prices or any situation where I can get any kind of profits, I'll do such. And that will conclude it. But as far as fundamentals analysis are concerned, I'll finish it with that. I've read not recent reports, but I have read the older reports, the first 3 books from Cliff High's Webbot. So there's some interesting things, including this thing not trading traditional by any manner. It was even stated in there. But of course, to me, this is showing that kind of thing. Big news coming sometime soon within the mainstream media, something I don't watch. So that's another reason why I just want to hold now. And that's just going to propel it like decently higher. I've also heard like really bad things about people panicking in the summer about big sell-offs. Well, does this count? Maybe. I mean, if people find losing 50% enough worth panicking, and that should not be the case to me in the crypto business, 50% down is like, okay, whatever, it's a move lower. And that is just interesting stuff there. Now, as far as transactions are concerned, I find them significantly better than Bitcoin in that they're a little faster and they're significantly cheaper, but they're not the cheapest overall. I mean, if you're paying 0.01 Litecoin, that's 50 cents. I mean, compared to Bitcoin, that's much cheaper though. So that has some stuff going for it as well. So any type of mainstream popularity can only do one thing, and that's make the price go higher. Who gives, I was going to say the SHIT, about Head and Shoulders or any type of double top or any type of blah, blah, blah negative patterns if the people get excited about it on a fundamental level, the thing's just going to go. So I'm going to end the video now. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day.